What's a crazy body life hack everyone should know? Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the Vancher channel. Also, please share your thoughts on this video in the comments. Let's get started. Story 1. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. For years, I thought I just never got proper sleep, but turns out I was just jacking up my circadian rhythm by staying up late and sleeping in on the weekends. Story 2. If you lift and are having shoulder issues, try adding face pulls to your routine, especially if you do a lot of pressing. Plenty of online resources tell you that rows are enough for your rear delts to keep from getting any imbalance-related issues. But in practice, as a seasoned lifter, I've found that not to be the case in my own body. Adding face pulls to my routine had my shoulder pain disappear within weeks. Story 3. Dental care is important. Brush 2-3 times daily and floss daily. Don't brush more than 4 times a day. Get regular cleanings. You will save money later in life with good dental hygiene. Story 4. A couple of my kiddos sometimes get motion sickness when we are driving around town. I do 2 things to try to prevent this coming on. 1. Carry sweet lollies in the car. If they start to feel a bit off, I give them one and encourage them to suck on it for a long time. A sing-along in the car distracts the mind, and I really believe that the endorphins released during group singing keep the nausea away. Story 5. I can suck air into my stomach and burp really, really big. I have no idea how to explain to someone how to do it, though. Hurts if I do it a lot. Story 6. Put your knees and elbows on the ground and slowly walk your hands forward with your butt in the air and head down. Downward dog position. Almost always relieves IBS pressure. Story 7. Eating a small snack that includes complex carbohydrates before bed, like a banana or oatmeal, can help improve sleep quality. Carbs help your brain produce serotonin and melatonin, which regulate sleep. I think that the best crazy body life hack, because we need to sleep good. Story 8. Eliminate sugar from your diet as much as possible. It causes systemic inflammation and, over the long term, is really bad for pretty much every part of you. I have had joint pain since I was a late teen. I'm now 52, and before I cut out sugar, there were days I could barely move or walk because my pain was so bad. It's now just the odd flare-up, and usually because I made a mistake not checking ingredients before I ate something. Story 9. Floss. I was skeptical for so long, but once you see the extra stuff come out, it feels wrong not to. Story 10. All these helpful ones, and mine is just dumb. Whichever is your dominant side, sit and make clockwise circles with your ankle. Now draw the number 6 in the air with your same side hand. Your ankle will automatically reverse directions. Brain stuff. Story 11. As you age, watch your weight, blood pressure, and bowel movements. Don't let yourself get dehydrated or cold. Even if you become ill, you'll suffer less. Story 12. If you get a brain freeze, hold your tongue or your thumb to the roof of your mouth, and it will almost always stop it within a few seconds. Story 13. Savory breakfast. Don't kickstart your day with a massive glucose spike, and you won't be on the glucose insulin roller coaster all day. Honestly, the thought of a sweet croissant with jam, jelly, and orange juice first thing makes me feel physically sick these days. Personally, I like a 3 whole egg omelet whisked with a splash of soy sauce, with a handful of baby spinach folded inside, maybe on top of a single slice of toast. Keeps you satiated for 4 hours. If you must have sugar, have it as a dessert after you've lined your stomach with fiber and protein. This diluting the glucose and avoiding the spike. Fruit is just sugar. Treat it as such. Fruit juice, not even once. Story 14. I learned a kind of weird one on Reddit a few years ago that I use almost every day now. It kind of stretches your back, straightens your posture. I do this in the shower, but it can be done anywhere. Put your back against the wall. Make sure your heels, calves, butt, shoulder blades, and back of your head are touching the wall. Now with your palms, try pushing your body away from the wall, but at the same time try keeping all the things listed above against the wall, so you're kind of fighting yourself. Do this a few times in 10-second increments. Story 15. Bad heartburn, acid reflux. Make sure you sleep on your left side. Relieves the pain from gas escaping because of the way your stomach is shaped. Story 16. Eating can interrupt the crying process. Your body has to focus on keeping a clear airway while you eat, so you aren't able to cry as easily. It's good for moments when you can't cry despite feeling sad, e.g. at work. I recommend Snickers bars. Story 17. Set small incremental goals to improve fitness or life in general, e.g. improving plank duration for a stronger core. Instead of focusing on 1 or 2 min mark, focus on 10 counts and repeat. You'll be surprised how you manage to consistently reach or go past your planned target. Story 18. If you're a woman at any age after 30, regardless of babies, but especially with, even if you've never had a major fall, but especially if you did, just do a routine pelvic floor therapy check-in. I was in pain for years. My SI joint, no matter what I did, I couldn't get the pain out. Well, turns out if I try from inside versus outside, I'm relieving it since it's actually semi-stuck. And massaging and relearning to not push to pee, etc., and adding small pillow at my waist. I have larger hips versus waist. All these things together after years of therapy took the pain away. 10 sessions of pelvic floor versus 3-4 years of other PT. Go to a pelvic floor therapist. You can have hip pain, back pain, intimacy, discomfort, and it can be helped with pelvic floor therapy. Story 19. If you are feeling gross, brush your teeth and tongue. It's amazing how much better you'll feel with a clean mouth. Story 20. Simple strength training can help in unexpected ways. For me, I had chronic iliotibial band syndrome beginning in college, which made hiking downhill troublesome, despite otherwise good fitness and hiking pace. But once I started cycling seriously and built up my quads, this problem went away almost entirely. Now I'm in my 40s and can take on trails I couldn't handle in my 20s. Story 21. Squishmallows, especially one-gain Squishmallow, is perfect to poop your body up after Segre or an accident. I broke my pelvis and was wheelchair-bound for 3 months. That Squishmallow saved my life. Story 22. I didn't see this here, but pickle juice helps get rid of muscle cramps like calf cramps, hamstring cramps, etc. Story 23. This isn't a life hack. This isn't anything crazy, but it is very effective. Be active every day. Run, lift, swim, bike, walk, stretch. Be active every single day. Choose your days to go heavy and intense. Choose your days to go light and recover. I promise you this will help your standard of life. Story 24. You can change your voice temporarily by jabbing your fingers into either side just behind of your Adam's apple while speaking. Story 25. Whoever made the post about eating sour candy when you have an anxiety attack just saved me several times this morning in a meeting. Thank you, stranger. Story 26. Lick your hand and smell it for a true breath check. Also, staying hydrated is the best thing to fight off bad breath. Story 27. Using your tongue to stretch the roof of your mouth, it can help reduce headaches and even improve your mood. Story 28. If you feel like your chest is full of infected cough, instead of harmful behavior meds, just don't eat anything for long periods of time. You will feel the air building up inside you, and eventually all the cough comes out. Really useful for general purposes. Found it extremely useful for road trips and traveling. Story 29. Story 30. As a guy, when you are done peeing, put your fingers just behind the ball sack and push up. A bit of pee comes out that otherwise might go in your pants. Story 31. If you eat healthy and proportionately and work out 3 to 4 times a week, you'll have more energy, rarely get sick, be in good shape, more mental clarity, and the list goes on. It's freaking crazy. Story 32. The mammalian diving reflex can stop an anxiety or panic attack instantly. Hold your breath and splash water on your face or dunk your head, and your body goes into underwater mode. Your body gets ready to conserve oxygen by slowing down lots of processes, switching off not the technical term, some organs and parts of your brain. Panic requires too much oxygen. Panicking underwater will lead to drowning, so your body just cancels out of it. This is also why throwing a drink in an angry person's face stops them on their tracks. Story 33. This is for you other men out there. If you have one of those massage guns, you can give yourself a hands-free climax by hammering down in the area directly under your balls. Your prostate is in there somewhere. Story 34. I feel like most people know this one, but gargling warm salt water at least 3x a day for 30 to 2 minutes will help clear up any signs of a sore throat. Most of the time, I'll say for me at least. Story 35. Drastically reduce or eliminate adult beverage intake. Your body and mind will thank you. Balanced hormones, stronger immune system, better sleep, weight loss, clearer skin. Prior to this year, I would drink on average 3-4 nights per week, 1 to 3 drinks each of those nights. There weren't any issues with dependence or harmful behavior, but I grew to dislike my relationship with adult beverage. I'm happy to report that my physical and mental health have greatly improved in just a few months since I cut back to 1 to 2 drinks per month, if that. Story 36. Stop slouching when you sit at your desk. Sitting up feels unnatural, especially at first, but slouching gives you pains all over and screws up your posture. Story 37. Only for men in the group and at risk for sounding like an infomercial. Get your testosterone levels checked if you're having any of the symptoms. In all seriousness, it feels like a life hack. Story 38. I've heard somewhere when you experience very cold temperature, e.g. when you walk outside in the winter entering cold water, take deep, slow breaths and focus on your breathing while relaxing every muscle on your body. At first, it may not be easy to stop the shivering and focus on something else. But once you get it, it really helps with dealing with the cold. Try it and let me know if it also works for you. I bet it's also a good mental exercise meditation. Story 39. For men, after urination, if you press on the gooch and push forward towards a shaft, you'll push out the last bits without needing to shake it like you're playing with it. Very effective at preventing those last few drips that always seem to sneak out right as you zip your pants. Story 40. Use sunscreen when it is sunny outside, no matter what skin tone you have. It will help your skin stay healthy and keep you looking younger for longer. Story 41. Pay all bills first, and whatever is left, that's your fun money. Do that, and the man can't touch you. Keep driver license, registration, and insurance valid, and the fuzz can't touch you. Work 9 to 5 and keep your head low. Go nuts on weekends only. Story 42. Raise your feet using the stool or pile of books when you poop. You are aiming to get the angle between your thighs and torso to about 30 degrees. This straightens out your bowels and reduces the amount you have to push to get your poop out. The less you have to push, the less likely you are to get uncomfortable conditions like hemorrhoids or anal fissures. You can buy a purpose-made stool for this. Google squatty potty. Thank me later. Story 43. If you can't get a full night's sleep for any reason, aim for 3, 4.5, or 6H, even if that means you get less sleep. Sleep isn't one big REM cycle. You go through a complete cycle every 90 min. In general, if you feel terrible when you wake up, and it's not due to being ill or a hangover or similar, it's because you forced yourself awake during the deeper parts of sleep. Aiming to wake up at the end of a REM cycle will leave you feeling more rested than if you had less sleep. This also applies to naps, by the way. It's better to either wake yourself up before or after the deeper REM sleep, which means naps should be either 20 min or 90 min, not anywhere in between. Ask anyone who says they feel terrible after naps how long they nap for. Most of the time, they'll say about an hour. Despite that being our standard unit of time, it's basically the worst length of nap imaginable. Story 44. The easiest and fastest way I've found to improve posture is doing the suitcase carry exercise with a heavy weight. I just did the suitcase carry exercise. Then I just woke up one day and noticed that I had proper posture. This was after years of trying to improve my posture through stretching and rubber bands. The suitcase carry exercise should improve your posture faster and more effectively than things like muscle memory, stretches, and stupid braces will. Story 45. Drinking ice water fast can temporarily help a headache. My neurologist taught me this. It works because it increases blood pressure for about 20 minutes, which can help with headache pain. It works. It works so well I had to buy a countertop ice maker because going through 4 to 6 trays of ice a day was not sustainable for me. I have ADHD and kept forgetting to refill them too. Story 46. So I just recently read that if you can't sleep, just start thinking up a dream in your head, and out you go. Some nights I have trouble sleeping, so I decided to give this a shot, thinking it was complete bullshit. But it works. That shoot is like Cthulhu rose from the sea, so I grabbed my lingerie-clad wife and kissed her deeply. You'll be back in no time, babe. I grab my helmet and head toward my modified F-22. I nod towards my wingman, call sign Beastman, who is a velociraptor, and we both climb into our zzz. Story 47. If you're on the toilet and can't dump it, rub your lower back and down towards your glutes for a min. You should poop after that. Story 48. To suppress the gag reflex, put your finger between your eyes, where the top of your nose connects to your face. Press hard for like 15 seconds. This helps kids when swallowing large pills. Also handy for adult purposes too. Story 49. The first time you try to jog, you can walk 80 of the distance. It's literally fine. Try to slowly lower the ratio of walking to running over the course of months, not days. You'll be amazed what you can do. Story 50. Work out and stay healthy. Getting old doesn't mean you have to get fat and weak. We will get weaker as we get older, but that could just mean that in old age, we can only bench press 100 kilos instead of 140. I watched a master's level, older folk, powerlifter squat 150 kilos a couple of weeks ago at our gym. That's how I want to be when I'm older. Story 51. It took me an embarrassingly long time to realize if you have water stuck in your ear, just tilt your head and open and close your jaw a couple of times. Should clear it out in a couple of seconds. Story 52. If you have the hiccups, get a plastic straw and a glass of water. Try as hard as you can to suck water through the straw, while at the same time pinching the straw as hard as you can to prevent water from getting through. 99 of the time, it works every time. Story 53. If you have an inflamed tendon, the best pain relief for that is simple ibuprofen. Make sure it's ibuprofen, not Tylenol, etc. Doctor told me a few years ago that ibuprofen is best for inflamed tendons and IDK if he placebo affected me or not. But I certainly notice a much greater relief in swelling and pain using ibuprofen compared to any other OTC pain reliever. Answer: Aleve is always the wonder substances for me, lifelong issues with tendinitis. When this happens, but I've found a couple other helpful things. For my particular case, my muscles are unbalanced because I work on a computer so much. Two other things help. One, an intensive physical program to rebalance muscle groups. And two, a physical therapist who would apply dry needling. I felt like I came out of a bar fight after the needling, but had weeks or months of relief after a session. The workouts were really the only ones that truly addressed the underlying issue, but the NSAID was good for the immediate term, needling for medium term. Story 54. If you stand up too fast and get dizzy, just place your palms flat against a table, bed, whatever is flat and perpendicular to the surface you're standing on. Seriously gets rid of the dizziness in a second. Story 55. Buying a yoga mat and spending money on a good studio with beginner-friendly instructors is the best money I have ever spent. Story 56. If you have trouble sleeping, try putting your feet in cold water for a few minutes. It can help relax your body and make you feel sleepy faster. Answer: If I shower before bed, I use a similar trick. After I'm done, before I get out, I set it to cool, not cold. I'm not trying to torture myself. Plus, I'd never do it again. Anyway, I go for cool, like refreshing, pool on a hot day cool, and I try to wash the heat off of myself. Having a lower core temperature helps you fall asleep faster, which is probably why the cool feet works too. Story 57. If you can't fall asleep, get up and out of bed, and then get back into bed, basically redoing the bedtime process. Tricks your mind. If that fails, beat off and fall right to sleep. Story 58. Sniff rubbing adult beverage prep pads or on a cotton ball if feeling nauseous. Source: paramedic, it works. Better source. Story 59. Drink water. 8 oz of water before every meal, about 1 hour before. It helps reduce the amount you eat and is good for you. Skin is the largest organ, so feed it vitamins, water, sunscreen, sunshine in moderation, and moisturize several times a day. Story 60. The 20-20-20 rule: if you have to stare at a screen for an extended period, at least every 20 minutes look up and at least 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds. This can reduce eye fatigue and can also prevent headaches. Story 61. Antiperspirant should be applied to dry skin. It will last longer and not be irritating. You can, for example, apply it at night and wash off in the morning and it will still work. The coating isn't what is working. It absorbs into the skin and blocks the sweat glands. After a few hours, the stuff on the skin isn't doing anything. Story 62. If you are in a crowded space, shrug, pull your shoulder blades together and shoulders upward instead of doing a chest in. Story 63. Stretch. Stretch every day for a few minutes. Focus on hip and lower back and those hamstrings. You will find you can do a bit more and go a bit longer before things start to hurt after a long day. Sit in bed and just stretch. You'll thank yourself when you're 60 and can still bend at the waist, or 80 and can stand up out of your chair with less struggle. Story 64. If you have a stuffy nose due to a cold or allergy, try doing push-ups, jumping jacks, or any form of intense sudden activity. It's near instant relief. I always get the exact mechanism wrong, but since stuffy noses happen due to swelling in the tissue of the nose, sudden activity promotes blood flow and drainage of mucus. It's temporary, of course, but worth a try. Story 65. One effective body hack is the 4-7-8 breathing technique to quickly reduce stress and help you fall asleep. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 7 seconds, and exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. This method slows your heart rate and calms the nervous system, making it easier to relax or drift off to sleep. Story 66. If you hold your tongue and say the word gullible, it actually sounds like you were saying green beans. Story 67. Journalism helps clear your mind. Just sit down for 10 minutes every day or two and pour your thoughts out on some paper. Story 68. Although it may seem counterintuitive, for those on medication which affects libido, practice intimacy fitness so you're ready when you want to be. I practice daily, and staying in shape is what makes a healthy intimacy life possible on my medication. Story 69. Fiber, eat it. Eat a lot of it. Proof I'm 40 and just started upping my fiber intake via chia pudding and oats boom down 7 lobs. Story 70. If you ever are mountain hiking and get your arm wedged in between boulders, you can use a dull Swiss Army knife to cut your arm off. Story 71. Having an anxiety or panic attack? Deep breathing plus going through this list to center yourself can help reduce it. 5. Things you can see at that moment. Things you're hearing. Things you can feel. Things you can smell. Thing you can taste. Story 72. Walk or bike for 20-30 minutes, first thing every morning, and constipation not be a part of your life. Story 73. Sleep. Fudge sleep. 1. Your bed is for 2 things, sleep and intimacy. Nothing else. Seriously. 2. Set a wake-up time, then count backwards 8 hours. That's your sleep time. Count backwards half an hour. That's your bedtime. Follow this religiously. 3. Put your god-darn phone away when you get into bed, or even better, when it's bedtime. Plug it in and leave it the fudge alone. 4. Have a bedtime routine. Change into pajamas, brush teeth, have a cup of tea, have a light snack, read your saucy romance novel about Sir Richard male body part, Bengaraton, and his sexy maid Evangeline Softits, etc. Make this part of your sleep routine. 5. Eliminate or limit your blue light exposure about half an hour to an hour before your sleep time. See number 3. 6. If you do not fall asleep within 10 to 15 minutes, get up, go do something else for half an hour and try again. Something light that doesn't include your phone or TV or computer. Go back to Sir Richard and Evangeline's adventure with the nudist tribe of clam divers in Borneo. 7. If you wake up in the middle of the night, get up, go pee, then go back to bed. Keep the lights off or low during this. Dudes, sit on the toilet for this. 8. When it's wake-up time, get the fudge out of bed, unless your wife wants to reenact Sir Richard and Evangeline's adventure with the Brazilian snake charmers in Rio. I know this sounds like a lot, but over time, this will all train your brain and body to fall asleep faster, stay asleep, and get good sleep. If you snore loudly, get yourself checked for sleep apnea. Getting good sleep is not as hard as you think. It truly just takes eliminating your phone, computer, TV distractors from it and setting your brain to sleep mode, and maybe some Sir Richard and Evangeline adventures. Story 74. When nauseated, saturate a cloth with as cold of water as possible, wring it out but not all the way, place it across the front of your neck. Instant relief. Story 75. If you're about to sneeze and don't want to, push your tongue against the roof of your mouth and it will stop. Story 76. Strength train, build strong muscles, and focus on your back so you have less back pain as you get older. Story 77. Use your hand to dry off in the shower like a squeegee before you use the towel. You will dry much faster. Story 78. Cold showers. Jogging and hot or cold will increase your stem cells. Ground with bare feet on grass or ground. Hold your breath to get out of anxiety and fear. Say the mantra, I love you. I am sorry, please forgive me. And thank you to center yourself and be calm and blissful. Accept all in life as neutral and change good and bad to preferred and non-preferred. Finally, you are not a sinner. We're told by religion you are, and that's preventing you from living your dream. Story 79. If you are having trouble controlling your mind, like you are hyper-fixating on something, cover one eye with your hand. It stops. Story 80. If one of your nostrils is clogged stuffy, lay on the opposite side for a few minutes to relieve pressure. X. Left nostril is clogged, lay down on your right side for a few minutes until it starts to even out the pressure. Don't lay for too long or else your right nostril will clog up. Story 81. I scrolled quite a bit, but I didn't see what I'm looking for. Anyone have any life hacks for tight hips? They hurt all the time. Story 82. It's far, far easier not to gain the weight in the first place than it is to take it off later. Source, a man in his 40s. Story 83. If you're worried about getting a shot or any other uncomfortable momentary thing, just focus on wiggling your toes and counting them. It redirects your brain and body on your toes, and you're distracted enough to not even feel the shot. Story 84. If you are semi-constipated or really need to poop, but nothing is coming out, but you feel that gurgle in your belly and the bubbles churning down below, and the only thing stopping a complete eruption is your anus, slowly rock back and forth, front to back, preferably. Side to side won't hurt either. Or go take a vape hit LMFAO. Nicotine is a natural laxative. It gets your bowels moving, and after some rocking, that little butthole will relax. Your colon will open up nice and wide, and bam, the floodgates open. Story 85. Get into a routine of stretching your hip flexors and chest if you sit for long periods. Absolute game changer for people who suffer with chronic lower back pain as a result of being hunched over a desk. Story 86. Scientists studying hiccups theorize that they are a leftover mechanism from when humans were fish and had gills. Simply remind yourself that you are not a fish and they will go away. Regardless of whether the reason is true or not, your brain will stop them. Try it next time. Say, I am not a fish. I don't need to use this anymore to yourself and they will go away. Answer, so this does work and nobody seems to believe me. LOL, I hadn't heard of the I am not a fish trick specifically, but I found out when I was young that I could get rid of hiccups by just convincing myself they were gone, and I've been doing it ever since. I usually just tell myself something like, wow, finally they're gone. I'm so glad those hiccups went away, and kind of try to get excited about it to really sell it to myself. LOL. I've tried to spread this knowledge, but people think I'm crazy. LOL. So all that to say, it seems like the fish one likely works for the same reason as mine. With the added science factoid to tell your brain, see, there's science behind this. It's gonna work. Story 87. If you have back pain, get a full back shiatsu massager with heat. Pops your back into place without the fake chiropractor. Story 88. I can't say if there's any science behind it, but if you ever feel like you're going to puke at an inopportune time, start humming. Supposedly you can't throw up when you're humming. Maybe BS, but seems to work for me. Story 89. If you're feeling down, take a moment to reflect on why. Ask yourself if this will still matter in a year or even 5 years. In most cases, it won't be significant enough to weigh you down. This perspective can help lift your spirits. Story 90. Every man should have a hairdryer ready for after showers. Drying the whole nether region away, front, under, and back with a hairdryer before putting on underwear is a game changer. Story 91. If you feel like you're going to throw up, sniff rubbing adult beverage. It sounds crazy, but I do it all the time. Saved me many times from throwing up. Story 92. You can fart silently by slightly spreading your cheeks and just letting it escape. Just think of letting a balloon deflate slowly. Don't push it out. Don't push it. Story 93. Want to prevent a hangover? Before you pee and go to bed, chug a big thing of water, Gatorade, something hydrating, then pee. This tricks your body into thinking it's gotten the waste out of your body, so you likely won't have to go in the middle of the night, and retains that water needed to hydrate and prevent the hangover. Story 94. Rubbing your wrist before bed to prevent nightmares. I forget exactly what points, Google it, so I just apply pressure and rub around the wrist, and I don't have nightmares. Learn this from an acupuncturist. Story 95. You should never try to hold a sneeze in, as it can actually cause damage. However, you can stop a sneeze from actually happening by keeping your jaw closed. You don't have to clench hard, but think about keeping your molars touching each other so your mouth is shut. The sneeze sensation will build, then just completely go away without happening. Story 96. Alternate with a glass of water. Whatever it is, if you're a coffee fiend, have a glass of water between each glass of coffee. Night of drinking glass of water between each beer. You'll consume less of the less good liquid and more water, which is good for every system in your body. Story 97. Working out in the morning on an empty stomach and doing my post-dinner 12-hour fasting has helped me tremendously in terms of mood and energy levels. Story 98. Learn how to listen to your body cues and how food really feels in your body and what amounts feel good of what foods. You will never have to diet or watch your weight. Story 99. Cold showers every day for at least 5 minutes. Reduces swelling, regulates your thyroid, is better for your skin, and will definitely wake you up. Story 100. A great body hack is the Valsalva maneuver to quickly relieve headaches or sinus pressure. Here's how it works. 1. Pinch your nose shut. 2. Close your mouth. 3. Try to exhale forcefully without letting any air escape, like you're inflating a balloon but with your nose and mouth closed. This maneuver helps equalize pressure in your sinuses and ears, providing fast relief for sinus pain or headaches caused by pressure imbalances. Just don't overdo it to avoid ear damage. Story 101. If you're a guy and you're pee shy, start listing all the prime numbers in your head. It helps you not focus on the pressure by giving you some simple math. The highest I ever get without peeing is 71, but I do it fast. I also used to not count sheep, but just count numbers in my head to go to sleep. Just count really fast from 1 to 1,000. At some point, your brain will just get tired of counting, and you fall asleep after a couple hundred. Story 102. If you have slow, sore, or backed up bowels, lay on your back, legs straight, Feel for the tip of your hip bone, iliac crest, and find the spot halfway between your belly button and the iliac crest, and press gently but deeply several times. You might be able to feel almost a cartilage-y spot. It's a valve joining the large and small intestines, and if you press there several times, it can get things moving. It should be relatively deep. You might feel bites or hear noises, and it should not hurt. I like to then do a clockwise, gentle massage around my abdomen. Story 103. Cold water therapy. Cold plunge. In the morning really helps me start my day at a stress level of 3 out of 10 rather than 7 out of 10. 60 breaths at 35-40 degrees with my eyes closed is my meditation. Story 104. Honestly, it's super boring, but eating fruit instead of something sugary is great for you. No sugar crash, more filling, overall better for you. And if you're a sugar addict like me, it helps you break the dopamine-fueled cycle. Story 105. Being nervous and being excited is the same thing as far as your body is concerned. If you've got something coming up, like a presentation, etc., that makes you nervous, just tell yourself you're excited. Say it out loud to yourself. Think it. Do not let yourself even think the word nervous. If someone asks if you're nervous, you say, I'm excited. You don't have to believe it. It still works. Gaslight yourself. Story 106. Do the important things that take less than 5 minutes as soon as you know them. For example, scheduling a follow-up doctor visit, put a reminder on calendar, call a colleague for a simple question, etc. Everything you need to remember to do is like a tax on your mind, and keeping that list to a minimum does wonders for having a calm and productive mind. Story 107. To stop hiccups, inhale deep through your mouth. Swallow twice with your mouth closed while holding your breath. Exhale slowly through your mouth. Story 108. If you feel a sneeze coming on but can't get it out, look towards, not directly into, a bright light source, a light bulb, the sun, etc., and it will cause you to sneeze. It's called the Achoo syndrome. Story 109. Shower head on the tip of your male body part after coming. Brace yourself. Don't pull away. Let it do its thing, and thank me later. Story 110. A consistent, rigorous strength training program paired with a clean, food diet will help you stay healthy into old age better than anything else on the planet. I'm not talking about becoming a bodybuilder, but 3 to 5 sessions per week of lifting with progressive overload. Yes, I know. That's it. Story 111. How to get rid of ringing in your ears. Firmly cover your ears with your palms, firm enough that you can hear that low rumbly noise that you can hear when you wear earplugs, and drum rapidly on the base of your skull back of your neck with your fingers for about 50-30 seconds. Some folks say it doesn't work for them, so your mileage may vary, but it works like a charm for me. Edited to add, this is almost never a permanent solution. I read one guy's account of doing it regularly and having his tinnitus lessen significantly over time, but most folks say it only lasts for a few hours at best. Story 112. My dad is getting ready to turn 80, and he's able to get down on the floor, sitting cross-legged or lay on his stomach, play with his great-grandson, and then get up off the ground. I've noticed the last few months he struggles a bit getting up, almost losing his balance. However, the fact he's still able to sit on the ground for so long and be cross-legged blows my mind. I'm 39, and if I sit on my hardwood floor for more than a couple minutes, my back is paying for it. Story 113. Lower back pain fix. Sleep on her side with a pillow under the leg or not laying on. Stretch your hips as much as possible. Story 114. If you spend a lot of time in front of screens, work on your posture. Most people adopt really poor posture when using screens for some reason. When working at table desk, make sure you do your ergonomics basics. Adjust your chair so that it makes it easier to sit with good posture. Use an external keyboard and mouse track. Ball whatever when possible. Get more distance between you and the screen. Put your screen at a comfortable height. If your laptop is on the desk table, it's too low. When lounging, try to keep your device at eye level as much as possible. Take breaks, change position, and be mindful of keeping your posture reasonable. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes to pain and fatigue. Bonus points. Fix your lighting. Many people keep their display far too bright for their ambient light level. Don't use screens in totally dark rooms. Turn on some light. In dim rooms, reduce your brightness. In bright rooms, raise it. Don't let your screen be massively brighter than your surroundings. Story 115. If you have lower back pain or sciatica, try gluteus medius burnouts. Use a chair or table to steady yourself and raise one leg straight out to the side as high as you can, and hold that until it feels like your hip is on fire and trying to cramp. Repeat on the other side. It sounds crazy, but it can eliminate lower back pain instantly. Answer: physical therapist here. My experience treating low back pain is that most people with back pain are weak or bad at using their glutes, and that is a pretty strong driver of pain. Any sort of glute work, Max and Medman, helps probably 60-70 of my low back people. Hip internal rotation is also a nearly universal deficit in people I see. Lack of IR range and strength can be surprisingly limiting in both power output and endurance before pain comes on. Story 116. Hold your hand up, all fingers extended to form a flat palm. Bend your ring finger 90 degrees and flick it. It looks springy. Story 170. If you eat her private area until she loses her darn mind every night, she will do the dishes with glee. Story 118. If you cup your hand around your ear, facing your hand forward or backward, you can hear better from that direction. Story 119. Reduce nausea instantly by sniffing 90 isopropyl adult beverage. Don't know why it's better than 70, but shoot works better than ginger. No worse than Zofran. Story 120. If you ever experience sleep paralysis and are desperately trying to move again, start by focusing on your toes or fingers. I find that I can get them to move first, then the rest of my body follows. Story 121. Snoring is deadly. I don't give shoot if you don't want to sleep with that mask on, or if you just lose some weight, you'll stop snoring. I'm shouting this next part. Ask your doctor and/or get treated for sleep apnea, people. Your risk of sudden cardiac passing increases some 500 with sleep apnea. You are 100 and jerk if you let other people suffer because of your excuses. You think noise is the worst of it? Wait till they can't wake you in the morning, or worse, when they can't and they call 911 and the medics do wake you up. If you aren't a veggie, enjoy a minimum of $100K in vegetable bills. If you dare offer any bullshit argument, and they are all bullshit, against the simple process of asking your doctor, is this a concern? Then pack your chute and leave your family now. You're too fudge selfish to be bothered with. You're right up there with people who smoke for 40 years and then say, can I have a lung transplant? No, just ask. That's it, ask. Don't be in jerk. If you want to be in jerk, fine. I don't expect you to have the courtesy to die alone, but this is your choice as well. Answer: I got a CPAP a few years ago, game changer. Took me a few nights to get used to the mask. Now I don't want to sleep without it. I used to toss and turn at night. Now I lay on my back and hardly move at all. Noticed a huge difference in my sleep quality because I used to stop breathing several times a night. My events per hour times I stopped breathing were actually on the lower end of the scale, but still a concern. The hospital sent me home with a device, so I did my sleep study at home in my bed. It's so easy. Just schedule it. Do it. I have a CDL. All it does is take your 2-year medical card and make it a 1-year. Super minor inconvenience, so don't let that stop you. Story 122. For weight loss, run the abs first. Crunches, planking, whatever you're comfy with, just keep your core tight. Do throughout the day in small sets anytime you have a moment. You immediately increase your metabolism, even if slightly, and feel more full on less food. When you eat and after, drink lots of water. Don't chug. Just keep sipping through the hours after meals till you have to pee. When you have to pee, you know you have successfully flooded your tract, and this will help break down food and increase speed of digestion. Plus, hydration helps with weight loss generally. Keep your core tight through the day and drink till you need to pee after each meal. You will lose weight on this alone. When you get down to your target weight, or heck, whenever comfortable, add some additional exercise to zones you want to tone up. SPZM. Answer: doing crunches and drinking water are great, but they aren't going to do anything to help you lose weight. The only thing that will take weight off and keep it off is eating less calories than you currently are, and slowly adjusting calorie intake until you reach your target weight, and then maintaining the base calories required for that weight, PLUs extra calories for active days. Targeted weight exercises are great for training the muscles, but you can't use them to burn fat from a specific part of the body because just grabs fat from wherever. Working a muscle doesn't magically burn the fat around it. If you want fat removed from a specific part of the body, you just need to eat properly until the body eventually gets around to grabbing fat from wherever, and then keep eating properly. A diet is not something you do temporarily to lose weight. Rather, it's something you've been doing since you were born. A diet is whatever you ate or eating. A proper diet is something that needs to be learned and then maintained for life. When you master maintaining a proper diet, you can eat any kind of foods you desire, and as long as you maintain nutrient balance. NBSP. Losing weight isn't about doing something. It's about not doing something. Overeating. NBSP. Fitness is about doing something. Training muscles. Story 123. Itching can be completely eliminated for several hours by using heat. By using a blow dryer on the area until it just about feels like it's going to burn, it somehow acts as an antihistamine. It takes some practice determining distance from your skin, but as a lifelong sufferer of body-wide psoriasis and having survived bedbugs and other itchy skin conditions, this works. If done right, it keeps the itching at bay for about 5 hours. Story 124. Interrupt an oncoming sneeze by pressing your tongue to the back of your front teeth so your tongue closes your soft palate. Avoids loud sneezes in quiet places, important meetings, near sleeping babies, etc. Story 125. If you press your tongue to the roof of your mouth while drinking, you can stop a brain freeze dead in its tracks. Story 126. Snacks, naps, and showers all do wonders for your mental health. Next time you're having an awful day, then just call it and go home early. Make yourself a quick snack, go take a shower, put on something comfy, and take a short nap. You'll feel 100 better. Story 127. Sticking your finger down your throat to make yourself gag puke will immediately stop even the worst hiccups. Story 128. Do compound lifts, squat, deadlift, overhead press, bench press, and back rows. Watch your body pain disappear. I used to have really bad sciatica issues, and all that shoot went away when I started lifting. I have a friend who used to have really bad knee issues. He started lifting and the same result happened. It all just went away. Story 129. Shrug your shoulders up, puff your chest out, then relax them. That is your natural posture. Clenching your butt cheeks while standing in public seems to boost my confidence, something they taught us in martial arts. Barefoot shoes have a whole rabbit hole of benefits. If you can't sleep, take melatonin. Mayo water flavoring helps me drink much more water. Always frequently check behind and around you while walking. Tools really are an extension of our body. Building a good EDC can help you and others around you when you're least expected. I'd recommend a Swiss Army knife and lighter for starters. You'd be surprised what you will now be able to accomplish. Story 130. You have vents on your forehead, palms of your hands, and the bottom of your feet. Ever need to cool down? Put cold air or ice pack on those spots. Definitely feels way better. Even in the car, I just face the palm of my hands to the AC, and you'll definitely feel a difference. Story 131. For foot cramps, push your foot towards your knee, then stretch it in that position until relieved. P.S. It's easier to teach this with actions, but I still hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say because it works for me every time. My sister, who's a PT, taught me this. I almost kicked her the first time she did it, but I'm glad I held back because the effect was almost instantaneous. Story 132. Pinch your index finger and middle finger to your thumb. Where they meet, you've made a pinhole lens that you can hold up to your eye to see better. Works really well to read an LED clock at night. Answer: I don't understand, and now I look like an idiot in the doctor's office waiting room squinting around with my fingers in front of my eye. Am I pinching like fingerprint to fingerprint so the 3 fingers form a little triangle? And if so, how do I look through the little triangle? The rest of my hand is in the way. LOL. Also, as I was typing this, the receptionist called to me. I absolutely thought they were going to ask me if I was okay. Turns out they wanted me to take a survey while I was sitting here. So embarrassing. Story 133. Just started taking creatine a week ago. I don't lift, just wanted the other benefits. And I like it. Extra energy, hangovers aren't as bad. Focus, but man, I am hungry all the fudge time. Story 134. Try sleeping with a pillow on your head and under your head, like a head sandwich with pillow bread. It is so relaxing and also functions as earplugs, side sleeping, and an eye mask. Not using dry shampoo keeps my hair looking fresh longer. Use a paddle brush for wet hair and drying, then a bristle brush every morning and night. I brush for a while. It's relaxing and helps my hair. I thought it would never grow past my bra line, and now it's down past my waist. Only wash it 1 to 2 hours a week and let it air dry a bit before blow drying. Use body lotion, morning and night. Aveeno is 10-10. You don't need to buy a tongue scraper. Designate a spoon as your tongue scraper. Don't forget to wash it often. If you had braces or get braces and then get retainers, wear your retainers every night for the rest of your life or for as long as you want your teeth to stay straight. Story 135. Get off the couch and sit up on a big round yoga bolster, the big long ones, not flat round ones, cushion on the floor, back resting on couch front. Every time you get up or squat down, it's a mini workout. Work up to not using upper body to guide you up or down, and use momentum to rise up, and a way better position for your body to be in. Couches turn our bodies, us, into mush. Story 136. If you feel like shoot or worthless, or maybe you spent a whole day doing nothing and are not motivated, have a shower. Put on fresh clothes and you will feel great. Bonus, go for a walk immediately after. It will make you feel like 1,000 times better. Story 137. It's a crazy life hack everyone knows about, but no one does. But it is scientifically proven to be better than any substances or intervention to boost your health. Get enough sleep and exercise. That's it. Everyone wants a pill or some hack to instantly make themselves healthier. But there's nothing more powerful than proper sleep and exercise. Story 138. If you want to dispose of a body, remove the teeth and make sure there is no titanium joints or screws. Story 139. If you are bloated and alone, bend over and touch your toes for an extended period of time. Additionally, get into child's pose and rock back and forth. You can also lay against a wall or couch with your feet up in the air. Rotate between those three positions if you are by yourself, and you should be significantly less bloated. Story 140. Do leg calisthenics every time you are passing scrolling Reddit. Even just a few, then work your way up. You'll feel 2x better in the first month. Story 141. Caffeine nap. Drink something caffeinated quickly, then take a 15-minute nap with an alarm. You wake up feeling like you can conquer the world. I don't think I would have made it through college or the infant stage with my kids without this. Story 142. If you're sick and pounding, lots of water, be sure to salt it a tiny bit. Otherwise, you flush your electrolytes and get even sicker. Learned this from the ER staff when I had to be treated with IVs during a lengthy sickness. Story 143. Seeking to actually strengthen your muscles as opposed to just getting surgery on them when something is wrong will save you a great deal of money in surgeries. So stay active. Answer. Started getting chronic tendon issues from years of computer work, like tennis and golfers, elbow at the same time, and the pain and weakness was often debilitating. Had a physio set up my work area properly, had doctors thinking about surgery, was getting freaked out and super depressed, thinking that my career was over. Took off a couple weeks, and a random massage therapist said, just start lifting weights and doing dead hangs. Did that through the pain at first. Couple years later, I'm still working on computers, but have no issues and am stronger than ever. Story 144. I am a woman, and my cocaine-addicted friend told me that a side effect was not being able to pee on command. She said, just tickle the top of your butt crack and the flow will start. It totally works. Stage fright in a public restroom? My God, it works. Not sure if it works for the fellas. Answer. Shut the front door. You finally answered something for me. Months ago, I was doing hospital rounds and asked if a patient was urinating all right. He said he wasn't, and he tried everything, even the tickle maneuver. I figured I didn't have time to clarify what that might be and didn't feel inclined in case it was some creepy old guy thing. Thanks for clarifying. Story 145. Crying is a healthy and good thing to do when you're sad. However, there are times when it's really inconvenient to cry. In those situations, controlling your breath will control your tears. Take slow, deep breaths until you feel better if you're in public. If you're in private, singing works too. Anything to alter your breathing will nip those tears right in the ducts. Just be sure to let it out and have a good cry later when you've got the time and space to do it. Story 146. Swimming. If you're fat and it's causing too much joint pain to exercise regularly, try swimming. No joint pain at all. Or if you're like me and exercising for exercising's sake causes this weird wave of depression rather than runner's high, swimming is probably also the best exercise for you. Seriously, I'm usually sobbing by the end of any other cardio because of how bad it makes me feel emotionally, but I could swim for hours and feel just fine. Story 147. As a migraine sufferer and in general has bad headaches, adding a couple of drops of peppermint essential oil to some water and massaging it into the scalp can help eliminate pain. Story 148. It sounds so stupidly obvious, but cutting out, or at least super way back on caffeine, you'll feel way less anxious, tense, less acid reflux, less chest pain, better sleep. Story 149. Okay. So I know a lot of people might be like, oh, I already know this, but do you really? Here's the thing. When I was younger, I had figured out, due to one of my teachers who work in one of the nursing parts of the military, that I had a slow metabolism, and that it is most likely the reason why I was a bit thicker than some of the other girl in my class. But she also said how it might be due to the fact that I'm taller than most women. And at the time, girls my age, at the time I was being around 57 and weighed at 144 pounds. And you might be like, oh, not that bad. To me, though, it was, due to most of my friends being skinny and being able to eat WTV they want. That's when my friend told me that all I needed was water, and I was confused because I was kind of like, well, no crap. But she said drink only water for a whole week while still eating WTV. Just make sure to not break the drink water part. And I said, okay. That whole week where I dropped drinking anything else but water, I ended up losing a whole pound, which was a lot for me, and I've done that hack ever since. Story 150. If you think it would be at all challenging, a simple rule would be anyone over age 50, get fully on the floor and back up again every single day. You really don't want to fall and then realize that you can't get yourself back up and to your phone for help. Practicing so that it isn't terribly difficult ensures that you will still be able to do it, even if you have a mild injury from the fall. Answer: that happened to my sister when she gained a lot of weight and went to the beach with her husband. He left early as he was tired. She couldn't get herself off the ground without something to hold on to. She said it was humiliating and she felt like a literal beached whale. She had to ask a passing stranger to help her up. She's since lost nearly 4 stone. Story 151. Box breathing for calm and emotional control. 4 in 4 out 4 hold. Change to extra exhales for sleep or extra inhales and 2 exhales and 2 holds for a lovely dopamine and focus boost. Story 152. Run, cycle, walk, cover ground under your own steam for at least a couple of hours a week. A lot of middle-aged people will moan about their knees being screwed up. This is because they sit on their arses and drive everywhere for decades. Walking, running, cycling prevents this. Story 153. I fixed my plantar fasciitis with one exercise I learned off a YouTube video that was actually an ad. It's a slightly complicated version of an against-the-wall calf exercise, but it works. I was able to walk normally again. Story 154. Honestly, even if it will not remove your body fat without diet, go to the gym. If you are able-bodied, of course. No need to be the next Marcus Raj. You can still work out with low weights, but it will improve your health significantly, especially if your back hurts a lot or similar stuff. Even I, with rheumatic arthritis, have quite some success in the workouts I can do, and it improved a lot about my health. Well, not in regards of my weight, but still. Story 155. When you brush your teeth, don't wet the brush first. You remove 40 more plaque. I asked my dentist if that was true. He said yes. Story 156. Stretch your pelvic muscle like a ninja. You have much better hip flexor movement, and it's satisfying. Sometimes I get that loud pop, and it's so good. Story 157. If you have to pee or poop really badly, and you can't because there's not a bathroom, subtly use manual stimulation to turn yourself on. Your body withholds signals from the digestive system during intercourse, so you don't pee instead of ejaculate. That's why it's hard to piss with a hard-on or after and climax for us girls. I pinch my nipples and the urge reduces and goes away for a bit, but the relief is stronger. The stronger the arousal. Story 158. This is going to sound obvious, but hear me out. 90 of my frequent headaches went away when I started drinking more water. Crazy concept, I know. Story 159. In stress situation, breath slowly for 4 seconds through the nose and breath out 6 seconds through the mouth. Make sure it's belly breathing, not chest breathing. Story 160. Lasting cough that won't quit at the tail end of a cold sore throat. Take Vicks Vapor Rub and heavily smear it on the bottoms of your feet and throw on socks. In minutes, the cough substantially subsides or goes away entirely. It's not science, it's magic. Story 161. If you have hiccups, you can short-circuit them and stop them, but it takes a bit of practice. The hiccups are from a rhythmic circuit in your diaphragm, going off and contracting your diaphragm. If you time the hiccup and interrupt the contraction with your own one by rapidly breathing really fast until you can't hold anything in and hold it, you can stop the circuit right there in the hiccups. But it can take a couple of tries to get the timing right. Story 162. If you feel lightheaded as you stand up, orthostatic hypotension, you can squeeze any muscle as hard as you can, and it will quickly raise your pulse and blood pressure so you don't black out and fall. Story 163. Train throwing patterns equally on both sides of the body. I started training with mace and heavy clubs in my early 40s. I was building the typical middle-aged male's body with all the aches and pains associated with neglect. Came across Mark Wildman on YouTube, immediately ordered 2 clubs and a mace from Amazon and haven't looked back. Followed along on YouTube and just kept at for the past 5 years. No more back, shoulder, or hip pain. Story 164. Cut out the middleman, which is self-talk, and just take action because you know what to do. You know what needs to be done. We just bullshit ourselves, so cut out the middleman. Story 165. If you're feeling overwhelmed, shake out your hands. If you just feel, kind of gross, sometimes brushing your teeth again or washing the hands can help reset. Story 166. I call this the leg blood dump. If you can't motivate yourself to get out of bed because you are still too sleepy, lift your feet and grab your knees or your toes. Blood will dump back to your heart and you'll get extra oxygen with that to your head and you will feel wide awake for a short time. Added bonus, you'll eventually feel lethargic again. So take advantage of the it's awake feeling to get a glass of water, which will thin your blood and carry more oxygen into your head. Story 167. Chew gum when nervous, as it'll trick to the body into thinking you're eating and therefore couldn't possibly be in danger. Works for me, even if it is hogwash. Story 168. To quickly relieve a cramping calf, usually happens while sleeping, stand on your feet. Feels counterintuitive, but standing up forces your leg muscles to stretch and stop the cramping. Answer. For cramp prevention, increase your electrolyte salts intake. This isn't just table salt, so please don't just add a bunch of salt to your foods. It includes other minerals like magnesium, potassium, sodium, etc. that your body needs for a bunch of functions. Please speak with a pharmacist so this increase doesn't interfere with anything else. But for me, a magnesium supplement helps a lot, and I also drink hydrolytes, an OS brand, instead of plain water to stay hydrated. Sports drinks like Gatorade often have too much sugar to actually be hydrating, but proper electrolyte replacements are a godsend. You don't have to be actively sweating or have food poisoning to need these. You can drink them anytime, but are especially helpful when you're actively sweating or otherwise losing fluids faster. I work in a hot kitchen, and the ice block ones really help keep me cool and help keep my fluids and salts up. Cannot recommend some version of these enough. As long as you get a good form of them, they really just improve your life. Story 169. A lot of people don't want to hear this, but simply exercising more. Like go lift weights hard. Don't do some half-ass cardio aerobic thing for like 20 minutes with a bunch of breaks, during which you never really maintain elevated heart rate. I'm talking like spend 45 minutes to an hour lifting heavy. Lift to failure a couple sets per week. It's like magic. I stopped to rest for a few weeks after months of serious working out and cutting a ton of body fat. Upped my calories, just hung out for those weeks before cycling into calorie surplus for a weight gain cycle through winter. I started back at the gym last week, but in the few weeks during which I was not lifting 3 to 6 days per week, I felt fudge awful. I hadn't realized how much of a difference it was making to every aspect of how I felt. When I wasn't lifting, my mood stability decreased. I felt more anxious and more easily stressed out by minor shoot daily. My energy levels, both physically and mentally, were in the gutter the whole time. I'd regularly be struggling to stay awake and stay focused at my desk job. I struggled to get to sleep at night and struggled to sleep straight through the night. It seemed like I became more generally irritable. Story 170. To maintain your balance as you age, while you brush your teeth, stand on your right foot for half of the session and your left foot for the remainder. You can even rest your heel against your ankle and get the results. To keep a normal gait and avoid tripping and falling, get a short stool or yoga blocks to help you squat while defecating on the toilet. This will keep your ankles limber and also facilitate defecation beautifully. Story 171. I bring a small lunch bag with ice packs in it. Sometimes no food, just a pack of facial wipes. After work, I'll take a nice cool wipe and wipe my face and neck. Feels good and refreshing, especially if it's been hot or if you're tired. Story 172. If you ever get butterflies on a roller coaster or something of the nature, hold your breath and you won't feel it anymore. It doesn't work 100, but about 70, 80 of the time. Story 173. Not sure if this counts, but reverse shampooing. Use conditioner on the ends of your hair, then shampoo your scalp and roots after. Gives the softening and smoothing effect of the conditioner, but doesn't leave behind so much residue. Story 174. Pillows were the reason I had neck pain, not the cure. I used to spend so much time trying to stretch my neck to relieve pain and headaches until I traveled for several months in a country where we slept on the floor with no pillows. Very painful at first, but after a while my headaches and neck stiffness went away. I'm up in the shouldn't run for president age range, and I still sleep on a futon with no pillow. Bonus, sleeping on the floor also forces me to get up and down off the floor daily, which helps me avoid those help I've fallen and I can't get up moments. Story 175. Not insane, but if you want to go to the bathroom at night, when you turn on the light, squeeze one eye shut until you're finished. Then when the light is off again, you can open that eye and it will be adjusted to the dark, so you can easily get back to bed with night vision. Story 176. Going outside for a walk or just inside the house helps you out with losing weight. I mean, you just need initiative, and if being called FAT isn't enough, hopefully a doctor's words will. Story 177. If you're trying to lose weight, cut anything with added sugar out of your diet. Get your sweet fix from fruits. First 2 weeks sucks, jerk, but after that, you really only feel like eating when you're actually hungry. Excess sugar really fudge with satiety. Story 178. For reference, I am a 42-year-old partially disabled vet. I waited until last year to start taking care of my body, following a very extended recovery process from a lower back injury, service-related, that flared up on the job and cost me that career. These are my daily routines now, and possibly advice for younger folks to avoid feeling as badly as I did. Supplements: turmeric, ginger, and beetroot extract, all three in supplement form, plus I juice fresh ginger and turmeric root in a Vitamix with a little pineapple. Semi-weekly, one or multiples of the following: waking, jogging, sprinting, plank, reverse crunch, hanging leg lift, flutter kick, push-up, pull-up, sit-up, sometimes multiple sets, sometimes all of them. It took me 6 months to be able to walk correctly after the flare-up. Don't be a hero, just be consistent and listen to your body if you need a recovery day. Diet is mega important. There is either sugar or corn syrup in almost everything in the processed food world, and bleached white flour is not doing us any favors. Before the back flare-up, I ate anything I wanted and paid for it in swollen knees and ankles, low energy and poor stamina and concentration. This is not advice to anyone because we're all wired differently, but the anti-inflammatory effects of the supplements combined with a low-carb, whole food diet changed my life. I couldn't walk more than a mile, 1.6 kilometers under 14 months ago, without extreme back, knee, and foot pain. I took roughly 6 to 8 ibuprofen daily. Now I can sprint and trail run and hike with weight upwards of 10 miles, 16 kilometers. And ibuprofen is only for migraines unless the pain is really bad. TLDR. Before you hit your 40s, eat better and exercise. Also, skin care is highly underrated. Story 179. If you feel nauseated, sniff rubbing adult beverage. A nurse recommended this to me years ago. Not sure why, but it works most of the time. Story 180. Squatting flat-footed rather than on the balls of your feet significantly increases the flexibility in your ankles, hip flexors, and gluteus medius. The latter two are important as weak and inflexible hips and gluteus medius are common causes of falls in seniors. They are hard at first, but worth it. Here's a great video if one wants to start. Story 181. If someone you know is suffering from heat stroke or are just overheated in general, take a few ice packs. Cover the ice packs individually so they don't directly freeze the skin and place them on the throat and femoral artery. This will cool down the body as quickly as possible without risking shock, the same way that drinking cold water can. It also doesn't require the person to be conscious in order to help them. Source: malignant hyperthermia first aid training from working in the OR. Story 182. Starting strength. Everybody with no history of lifting should do some kind of bench dead squat routine, adding progressively more weight over time. Beginners will quickly add a huge amount of strength and muscle. Eventually progress slows and people can decide how if to continue. But no reason not to take advantage of beginner gains. Story 183. I'm 65 and have been sedentary for several years. I also suffer from treatment-resistant depression. I know walking will improve my mental health and physical health as well, but procrastination is a huge problem. My oldest daughter took me to a shoe store that custom measures your feet, then brings out shoes to try on. The pair I ended up purchasing are amazing. My balance and posture is better. I feel safe. It was life-changing. As soon as the temperature drops a bit, we will be walking. I'm excited for the first time in years. I have flat feet, and even with bionic shoes, I couldn't walk far. Story 184. I just had pneumonia and learned a breathing technique for clearing mucus from the lungs. Basically, you take 3 to 5 slow, deep breaths. Then you take a medium-sized breath and slowly exhale all the way out, like try to get all the air out. Do that a few times. Then take a medium-sized breath and exhale in short, hard puffs, like you're saying, I found it really effective. Also, passively lying down with your hips above your shoulders, like on pillows or on the end of the couch, helps your lungs to drain if you give it 15 minutes or so. Story 185. If you're crazy about soda, start mixing it 50-50 with water. Sparkling works better. And every couple weeks or month, go 40-60, 30-70, 20-70. It kind of tricks your mind and taste buds. In 4 to 5 months, I quit drinking soda like a maniac. I still drink it sometimes, but now mix it 10-90. That's how crazy sweet they actually are, once your taste buds are recovered. Story 186. I found out from Penguin Z0 that if you're having trouble with hiccups, you can imagine that they never existed and don't exist, and they'll go away no cap. Story 187. If you have a mosquito bite and it itches, rub deodorant on it. I'm not sure how or why it helps, but for me, it always does lull. I'm also not sure if this is a common remedy or not. Story 188. If you have a Charlie horse cramp in your foot or leg, pinch your philtrum, that little indented area right under your nose. Story 189. If you're a guy and pee shy at a urinal, do your 9 times table in your head. It'll take your mind off your task, relaxes you, and you'll go. Story 190. If you're a man, you can just push on your urethra, starting from the taint, below the balls, all the way up to your tip to get that last bit of pee out. Pretend it's a Go-Gurt tube. Story 191. Lift regularly and don't overeat. No knee issues, no back pain, and feel just as good as I did in my 20s. Also, don't drink or smoke. Story 192. So there are certain muscles in your face that are only tensioned when you're doing a specific grin associated with laughter and joy. You can tension these muscles and get a free dopamine hit. Yes, that's right. You can trick your brain into giving you a squirt of the happy juice by doing a Cheshire cat grin and holding it for 15 to 20 seconds. I don't recommend doing it in front of others, but try it. Story 193. Your body breaking down, starting in your 30s, is not a foregone conclusion. If you exercise and take care of yourself, your body can easily last into your 60s or 70s relatively pain-free. Story 194. If you sweat through your sheets at night, wear socks. They will keep your feet warm, so your body won't feel like it has to heat you 100 degrees to get them warm. Story 195. If your teeth constantly feel fuzzy, try a coconut oil pull, like mouthwash. Take a chunk of coconut oil and swish it around for 10 minutes and spit it in the trash can when you're done, so you don't clog your drains. Teeth feel slippery clean for longer, and it fights bad breath bacteria. Story 196. If you don't have any lights as TV, you'll get a better sleep. I used to sleep with the TV on, and the difference is pretty nice. That's it for this video. Don't forget to support Vancher and my second channel, Vanchoose. See you soon.